Hello and good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Do you know what? I still haven't. I've been out, but I haven't still sorted my specs out. My specs are like got all tape on them, if you noticed, and everything, and they're falling apart, and I need to get in there. This is what happens in lockdown, people. It certainly does, And anyway, good afternoon and welcome to another episode with Warren. Don't forget, guys, if you've got any messages, please leave them in your right hand corner. You know by now, I don't want to tell you how to suck eggs. Everybody knows. Five secrets to love your child unconditionally. Wow.
It's a great
Now,
topic.
what are the five kind of what are the five secrets? Well, we're going to go through that in a minute, but as you know, Warren has got so many children. It's unbelievable. Um, and he was just telling me before we started that 8 weeks, 8 weeks he's got a mum, and he's been planning all of them out. So we'll ask him about that too today.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, yes. How are you? Are you okay?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's great to chat with you. I'm sorry I missed last week. I'm happy to be back.
Good. Good. Um, how are you going to cope with the children being home all that time then?
um, I've got I what we did is we sat down the four of us, myself and the three girls, and we made a list of all the activities we wanted to do throughout the summer. So they came up with ideas like a farm tour, going to a water park, going down to the beach, going to a rock climbing gym, um, going to a lake, going fishing, camping, all these sorts of things. And so, because they contributed to it, they're really excited about all of these activities. And so, we laid out a calendar for the next 8 weeks, and I'm going to be taking some time off of work in order to spend a bit more time with them. And so, we scheduled in all the different activities on this calendar, and we've put it up on the wall, and we're crossing them off day by day so that the girls can go and look at the calendar and see what's coming up next and start to get really excited for it. And so on Friday of this week, so tomorrow is Canada Day, so it's a big celebration, like celebration of the formation of Canada. And then the next day, we're going to a climbing gym to take the girls there, so they can look on the calendar, see, okay, Canada Day, we're going out to a friend's place. The next day is the climbing wall, that sort of thing. And so, because we've got it all scheduled out, the girls seem to be much more excited about the summer, and they've got their summer reading club and some camps, and there's a
Gosh,
bunch of things to keep them busy.
gosh, where do you live? I'm coming over right now. I'm coming over. Jet, for Jet, please. Yeah, take me to Warren's house.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we're gonna
so
have a fun summer. We're gonna have a really good summer.
good, good, good. You should come over to the UK sometime.
I would love to. I haven't been there in a long time. It's been about close to 18 years since I've been to the UK, and it's on my list to bring the girls there and spend some time, given that that's where their family heritage is from, is England and Scotland. And so I'd like to take them on a tour through the UK and see some of the amazing places. I know my folks
Oh,
did that with me when I was a kid. We did a canal trip from Chirk to Chester,
yeah.
which was absolutely amazing.
Okay, so um, yes, so I want to talk about number one here. It says about accepting feelings and limited behavior
Hmm.
for unconditional love.
Yeah.
Now, I'm giggling here because that's been tough for you, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it has, but it's definitely one of the things that I've worked on the most, and has had the most difference in my relationship with my kids, is accepting the behaviors, accepting their faults, accepting the challenges that they present. Is just being able to reframe it and let it go. That's it's so it makes such a massive impact when you can do that rather than resenting and holding on to it.
Yeah, and also about kind of really basically kind of controlling your anger at the same
Hmm.
time.
Yeah,
Because
well, I
when
mean,
you,
if you accept it, you don't get any anger, right? So that is the idea: is if you can move beyond the anger of an action and accept that that action is what it is, that
yeah,
you can't change what has already taken place, then it's really easy to control your temper if you're not getting angry about it in the first place.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay, good, good. Um, then number two, it says here, walk in your child's shoes. Oh wow. Naturally, we assume we're right because as adults, we assume all the time that we're right,
Yeah.
but sometimes actually we're not, and the child is right.
Yeah, that definitely happens, particularly about things with regards to their feelings and why they're doing things. We make assumptions with regards to why they've chosen to act a specific way, and then we quickly find out that we really have no idea what's driving their emotions. And and so giving your child enough credit that to understand that on occasion they're going to be correct about the situation is important.
Yeah, yeah. I've got some examples here. It says maybe it'd be nicer to his sister. Well, put it this way, I never used to get on with my sister. We used to fight quite a lot. And another one here, maybe gets involved in her play.
Yes.
And everything.
Yeah, getting down at their level and playing with them and engaging with them in the activities that they want to do. Yeah, that's definitely a good way to reframe things.
Yeah. Then we move on a bit, and then it says, appreciate the child you are, rather than wanting to make her into someone else.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, really, isn't it? We try to make our own children into somebody what they are not really. They want to be. We look at them and think, right. In my day, we had this, we had that, and you point at them and you say, look, you're very lucky. But the trouble is, we need to kind of like appreciate them really, and kind of
Yeah.
and don't make them out to be somebody who we want them to be really.
Yeah. I I'm going to argue with that one a little bit, and not because
Okay.
I don't think you should love your kids unconditionally, but I think it's important that as parents, we're trying to show our kids and lead them in a direction of being good members of society. And I'm not saying that they won't naturally come out that way, but they do provide some guidance and a framework um, in order to get there. And so
Right.
you can't just give them completely open reign to do whatever they want whenever they want,
Oh
because
no, no, no,
it doesn't that society doesn't work that way.
no, no.
So helping them find where the limits of certain things are, it's the whole idea of being an authoritative parent, right?
Yeah.
Providing them with clear, understandable guidelines as to what's appropriate behavior and what's not, um, is better than just saying, hey, do whatever you want, permissive, almost neglectful parenting style. So, as much as I think, yeah, let your child be your child, at the
Mm,
same time, there has to be a let your child be your child within a reasonable framework.
yeah, yeah. Totally agree. Totally agree. It says here, imagine that your child is a flower, but you don't get choose to, to you don't get choose what kind. Your job is to nurture that flower with the environment that they will help to blossom. Do you agree
Yeah,
in that?
yeah, they're a wildflower, right? You don't know
Sorry,
what
I've
they're
got a bit of
gonna.
a cold. Sorry about my speech today.
No, it's
So,
okay. They you don't know what they're gonna turn out to be like, and all wildflowers are beautiful. So yeah, I totally agree with that. I
mm,
I talk about this with my wife all the time. When you're before you have kids, you kind of think, and when they're really little, you think about, oh, can you imagine if she was, a CEO, or if she were to try to become prime minister or that kind of stuff. And then as they get a little bit older, the the idea of what they can become widens out so much because they have so many unique interests that you start going, you know what? I really don't care what they do from a profession perspective or anything like that. I just want them to be passionate and happy about it. I want them to enjoy what it is that they're doing in their lives.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that's number four. Got use empathy, connection, and
Mm-hmm.
repair rather than punishing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Um,
that's a tough one. That's tough to do.
yeah, it's so I've written down here. All punishment withdraws uh, love from the child. If we hurt the child physically,
Mm-hmm.
obviously the child does not feel loved at that moment. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's well, they won't, would they? Really?
Yeah. I mean, again, I think there's a difference between punishment and consequence, right?
Right?
Improper behavior that harms somebody else requires consequence. It doesn't require punishment. Like punishment is above and beyond. It's there's a sense of retribution or vengeance for the actions that they've taken, whereas consequence is you're going to learn not to do this because these are the consequences. If you hurt your friend isn't going to play with you anymore. That's the consequence of this. If you get up in the middle of the night and grab your phone or your laptop and you're on it, you're not going to have access to it in the middle of the night anymore. That's the consequence, right? Versus a punishment being, well, you're going to be grounded for a month with no access to technology at all. Like that doesn't solve the problem. There still needs to be consequence, and so I don't know if a consequence is technically withdrawing love. I don't think I entirely agree with that. I think you are showing love by ensuring that your child understands that certain actions are going to cause them problems in the future.
Right. Okay.
I think that's another form of love. It's not the cuddly, affectionate love, but it's the love of a parent who cares for their child and wants them to always be, the best version of themselves.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. What if your child has crossed the line? Be brave. Don't give in to your fear. Don't give up on her. Go get her, bring her back, and
Yeah,
embrace her.
yeah, yeah. I have this particular problem with my oldest, who is constantly after our middle one, and our middle one is the one with all the issues around suicide, that sort of thing. And there have been moments where I've thought I just don't know about this girl if she fits within our family, and then I constantly remind myself, no, you know, this is a stage. She's going to get through this. She's resentful that her middle sister is getting all this attention because of
Mm.
the issues that she's facing. She's just trying to find a way to get similar attention. This isn't the framework of her personality. She's not an evil person.
Mm.
She's struggling at the moment, and so that's that empathy piece. That's that connection. The figuring out what's actually at the root cause of behavior, so that you can accept and understand when behaviors happen that are outside of what you would normally accept.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you kind of like spoil one child than the other?
Certainly try not to, but it almost becomes, when you've got three kids, it becomes inevitable. And I wouldn't say we spoil, but the attention kind of shifts to whoever happens to need it the most at that moment, right?
Yeah.
I think when you've got two kids, you can do man on man defense, right? Like, my wife would be able to take one and I would be able to take the other to deal with issues. When you've got three, it's harder to divide that attention, and so you wind up running from fire to fire, right? You're essentially putting out fires all the time. It's okay.
Okay.
This needs to happen right now. Okay, now we've got to go here and deal with this, and now we've got to go here and deal with this. So it becomes it does become a situation where kids are getting uneven attention, and that's not necessarily fair to them, but it's the reality of the situation.
Right. Okay. Um. So at the moment, then, with your children, and because you got three children, how are you coping of them being off school, and because there's probably a lot of bickering and things going on, and the trouble is, and you're probably like pulling your hair out, and and your wife is too. And how do you control one child and the other two? Because to me, that is damn hard work.
Yeah. We've been very fortunate that things have started to open up here again in British Columbia, and so play dates are a huge thing. Distracting them with other kids. We had our oldest go and spend some time with her grandparents at their place for about a week, and so we try and make the situation easier for us by leaning on our community to help with the attention that the kids need, and making sure that they've got lots of time with their friends and that sort of thing. The bickering, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you had seen, but here in British Columbia, we set all time ever high record temperatures in the last 5-6 days, and so it
Oh,
was unbearably hot, and the kids were just cranky and lethargic and after each other constantly. So we just had to try and come up with activities to keep them busy so that they wouldn't be after each other. And then lots of kind of being a bit more forgiving with things like screen time and that kind of stuff, because you have to at a certain point. You need the distractions in order to keep them from being after each other all the time.
okay, okay, good, good. So, if people are out there at the moment who are having problems with their children through this COVID and very hot times and this climate, what's going on at the moment, and you are looking for unconditional love, what would you say to them?
Um, I would say keep your kids as busy as you possibly can with activities and even chores, that kind of stuff. It's a great way to distract them, um, rather than just. I mean, they do need some unstructured, free playtime, but the more activities you can plan for them, the less they're going to be after each other. Um, you know, During COVID, that was certainly really difficult, but now that things are starting to open back up, you can really dive back into that sort of thing. Um, Additionally, as we started off the list of five, just accept that they're imperfect and that those types of behaviors are going to happen. It's inevitable. We still do it as adults, let alone kids. We still do all these things as adults and cause problems. Like, how many workplace conflicts do we have, or conflicts in public with other adults, at the shopping mall or whatever? It still happens, right? Every human is imperfect, and so we have to understand that our kids in particular are going to be imperfect and accept those challenges. They suck in the moment that they're happening, but it's really important that we don't judge and belittle our kids because they're happening.
Right. Okay. Okay. And also, what's bedtime like in your house then?
Chaos, is that the right word for it? We try and maintain a bit of a routine, but it's difficult, particularly in the summer, because we do a lot more socialization in the summer. So we've always, like last night, we had people over for dinner, that sort of thing. So the kids didn't get to bed till about 10 o'clock. Whereas
Right.
normally we try and get them, bedtime started at 7:30 for the youngest, 8 o'clock for the middle, 8:30 for the oldest. And so then they go through their routine. Routine is super important in terms of not necessarily the timing of the routine, but the order that things get done, because
Mm,
you wind up creating dopamine when you've got a system of what leads into another activity. So if I know that bedtime includes getting into my pajamas, brushing my teeth, going to the bathroom, coming into my room and reading a book, For my middle one, feeding her fish, and then cuddling and going to sleep. Each activity, because you know what the next one is, there's motivation to keep it going in that specific order, and so it makes it a lot easier to complete. But there's also brain chemicals that fire off because it's happening, and so particularly for my oldest who's ADHD, it is incredibly important to create and keep with that routine.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
It's my
Okay,
pleasure.
guys. There you go. So please, please, please look back. If you haven't seen this, look back and kind of have a look.
I'm looking forward to chatting next week.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Don't forget, guys, follow up to you, tell people.
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways. We've got our podcast, The Flawed Dad's Guide to Parenting. Best way to find that is flaweddad.com. If you want to reach out to me, we're Flawed Dad Podcast on Instagram, or hello@flaweddad.com is our email address. Please feel free to send myself and my co-host Graham a message. We get back to everybody, and we'd love to hear from you.
Brilliant. There you go. How about that? All the way from Colombia. Yes, all the way from Colombia. So, if you want to go to Colombia, he's got plenty of room. You can babysit. You can babysit.
Yeah, if you're willing to look after the 3 kids, you can come out to Vancouver.
Yes, Vancouver. Gosh, yes, I'd love to come to Vancouver. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. We're going to be back around about 10 o'clock tonight with the lovely Amber Crawley. So between now and then, I've got a little break. Yes. So in the meantime, who watched the game yesterday? England. Yes. I think we're going to do it, guys. I think we're going to do it. Colombia's not in there, are they?
No.
See, no. Anyway, okay, guys. Thank you very much, Warren.
Have a great day. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
There you go, guys. I'm going to be back around about 10 o'clock. See you later. Bye-bye.